Finally, Michael.
Finally.
I can start celebrating Christmas because it's after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we're actually 2 weeks after.
2 weeks now, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's all time is relative when you're podcasting, it's like
it is relative. So we got to hear, we're recording this the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But this will be a couple of weeks after Thanksgiving because we're trying to get some in the books for the holidays. And Joel said something about it today in the sermon about, Christmas.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Everyone tries to rush past Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Everyone tries to get it out of the way.
And I would say that if you feel like that, you probably have a less than biblical view of the Christmas holiday. Because if Christmas is just the commercialism and stuff, then you don't want to...
I think you hit it, though. I think the crux of this argument is on commercialism.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone that I've talked to, I'm a strong... Wait till after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But if someone's like, we're going to be talking about John 1, the Word became flesh, I'm not like walking out of the room.
Right.
Or even if we're singing a Christmas song that's like out of season, like I don't think that's weird.
Yeah, because we do that sometimes.
Right. I think it's more weird if you're like, like, hey, we're decorating a tree with ornaments. Like, I'm like, let's not do that in July. I don't know. That's just me. But I'm like, I think that's the crux of it because I haven't really met anyone. I think most people, the commercialism.
Who decorate their tree and they're thinking, wow, this is a triangle. We have symbolism of the Trinity. We're putting lights on it because it's the light of the world.
Literally is saying that's what they're thinking of, and they're not thinking of Christmas in America. Like they're separating it. Then I can get behind that.
Yeah, I know I'm different than most people, but really some of that stuff is going on in my mind when we're decorating stuff.
And that's fair. And I
that's why I say you should have a very high view of the Christmas holiday and all the stuff like the going home and spending time and having some downtime. That's great too.
Yeah.
I just want to give a warning to parents.
Yeah.
That the guy, we might talk about the guy here in a second. So you might want to turn it off if you have toddlers or younger folks with you.
Little disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. So you've had time to
also.
To
why
adjust.
can't we like? This is my other gripe. Is like, I'm fine. People have a high view of Christmas. That's good. Like, why can't we elevate Easter more? Like, why? You know what I mean too. That's what I'm saying. I think that's a part of my gripe anyway. But yeah,
I'm 100% for that. We haven't sent out Christmas cards in a couple of years, and I think we may this year because we got pictures taken. But I'm always like, let's send out Easter cards.
I don't think I said this, but I think Nathan and Jess White
they did do
sent out.
this.
I don't know if we saw the podcast. I feel like we should because that was great, and it's like a few months late, but because we've talked about it. I was like, that's great.
So now that there's only adults or
that's right.
well-knowledged, well-informed children listening, I think part of it is the guy in the big red suit.
Dude, totally.
Get rid of that guy. Get rid of him. Like, celebrate St. Nicholas of Turkey.
Yes.
And what he did at that council, punching Athanasius in the face.
Was it Arius?
Arius.
Oh, that...
Not Athanasius. Athanasius was a good guy. Sorry. Sorry. The Athanasian Creed, we love that. But I remember, try not to get emotional. I started getting emotional in the last podcast, and I was like, I had to reel this in. Had to talk about the Steelers.
That's the anti-emotion cure.
It's anti-emotion. So many adults talk about, hey, there's that magic that you have at Christmas time. Yeah. And then once you find out that Santa isn't real, it goes away. And Chloe said, thank you, Dad, for never doing that because the magic of Christmas has only gotten more intense.
Wow.
As I've learned more and more about Christ and his, Christmas has gotten better as I've gotten older.
That's great. Because like you're saying, that's probably everyone's the reverse experience. Isn't that crazy? Wouldn't that be so sad?
Yeah.
And we all know if you switch the letters in Santa, Satan. So that's the other thing. That's the different side attacking it on the other side. That something bad's there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Have we talked? Maybe we talked about this last year. I wrote a blog post about this. I
love it.
And there is this Santa Claus is Coming to Town song.
Okay,
Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right now, Santa Claus. He knows everything that you're doing.
Oh man, yeah.
He watches over you. He hears all of our prayers, and it's like, it's clearly he's rewriting, he's taking the place of God.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, it's such a center place in our culture, obviously around the same time. So, man, yeah, I'm just saying. So I think that's really it, because I feel like I take a lot of heat for
your strong stance.
For my strong stance of saying, hey, I just want to celebrate Thanksgiving. It's just, let me be thankful for a little bit before I have to be like consumeristic and buy people all the presents. I just want to like enjoy the thankful time.
Have you seen those memes where it's like different, like it just increases levels?
Yes, yeah.
I think like, so the worst level is like the commercial, we're putting up, but then the best level is the spiritual, putting up Christmas stuff. Like you were like, I enjoy celebrating the incarnation of Christ so much that I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, I would not be opposed to like a nativity up year round.
Yeah.
That does not bother me.
Right.
It's because I almost will lean the other way, where it's like, wow, you're only setting it up for a month, like because that's the pushback I get. Like, why you only can do it for a month? But I'm like, well, if you really think that, you should keep the garland up all year round, because that's But I think like things like that.
Yeah.
But
I think what I've heard is that post Christmas this season is going to be a lot easier, because we're not going to de-decorate.
Don't take
We're
it
just
back,
leaving everything up.
Dude, have you ever met someone that has like a Christmas tree? I've met like even at the Blake Assisted Living near Northwood. I don't know if they're doing this right now, but they've done it in the past, where their Christmas tree becomes like a Valentine's Day tree. It just becomes a different holiday, and they just keep it up.
Yeah.
Because it's such a pain to put it up. There's like, we're going to keep it up and redecorate.
I don't want to call anyone out.
Do it.
There's a person in our church.
Yeah.
Initials are John Petters. Back in the day, before he was married, he had a Christmas tree, and he had this house with some rooms in it, and he would just put this huge trash bag over it, and then put it into another room, and then
time saver. That's amazing.
Take the trash bag off.
That's like Bachelor Living 101. That's amazing. That's so good. I love it. Well, Christmas, I feel like on my Christmas agenda, I don't know what things you guys like to do. Yeah. I feel like a staple in our family is we try to watch the movie Elf.
Elf. Lydia was talking about this. She's like, I've seen this. I'm trying to see when this episode actually airs, so I can
smart
do. So this was our Thanksgiving week. All right, so this week, this should air on Tuesday, December the 9th.
The 9th, okay.
So
very good. We're getting there.
I'll just put a shout out to all of our local listeners. This Thursday and Friday, this Friday and Saturday.
Oh, your thing
is the House for the Holidays.
House for the Holidays. Yeah. Personal invitation from Michael.
Come on out.
Nice.
There's a song that we're singing there. There's a soloist. So all I do on this whole song is ooh at the very end. And I mean, it's on pitch, and it lasts a little longer than that.
Yeah.
So basically, I just get to sit up there on stage and listen to it. But it's called "Do Not Be Afraid," and it details the 3 times that Gabriel went to Mary, Joseph, and then to the shepherds. And each time he says, "Do not be afraid."
Yeah, man.
And I thought things were real powerful. Yeah,
it's good. So hey, I just want to shake it off. I'm not like anti-Christmas. I'm just anti-commercial Christmas.
Yeah.
Just want to say that. Well, we are going to wrap up our adoption series. So let's buckle up and let's hit it. Let's take it to the next level.
Let's fire up that twangy music.
From the hearts of the Low Country in South Carolina,
it's the Take 2 podcast, where we take theology to the next level.
Wrapping up this 5-week series, a lot of things we could say, a lot of things that have been said.
Yeah.
I was going to run this by you, get your thought, because I think this is open to debate. This is maybe a different way to think about adoption. Well, the first way I'm going to say I don't think is open. The second way is probably open. Mm-hmm. But one of the big takeaways when you're reading all this adoption literature, really what we want to get away from it kind of goes back to Turretin. Francis Turretin, is that like 1600s, 1700s, something like that?
Yeah.
He wrote a famous systematic theology that I think a lot of systematics followed suit. It kind of like set the stage. It was pivotal, really well known. The way that the adoption books put it, would say that his version of the Ordo Salutis was forensically fixated, emphasizing justification in a very unique way. It's kind of the gateway to everything else. Everyone will say Ordo Salutis is great. but maybe for some people it can make us atomize or break apart salvation. It's not doing that, but it's a way to think about it, but it can disconnect us a little bit. And Turretin in particular, and then after that it was like Hodges and some well-known systematics in the 1800s, 1900s would say things like adoption is maybe the other side of the justification, adoption, two sides of the same coin, not like totally off base, but kind of like a negative and a positive side. Or they would say things like justification is number one, and then after that we get things like sanctification and union with Christ and adoption, these other things, and really trying to get away from that, where if you read a lot of the literature today, it really centers around union with Christ as kind of the centerpiece. And then we get all of these, and even though there might be a logical ordering to it, it's almost like you're experiencing these at the same time, and it's not like you were justified and now you're not justified. In a sense, you're kind of continually being justified in the sense that in Hebrews we read that Christ intercedes on our behalf, where it's like logical, but it's still almost like all these things are happening together. Probably not saying anything too controversial now. This is where most people kind of think of it. This is what this author does. David Gardner, he sits in the systematic chair at Westminster Theological Seminary in Philadelphia. And he writes it this way. It's kind of confusing, and he gets a lot of pushback for this from some scholars. He talks about everything stemming from union with Christ. He would make the argument that it's union with the adopted son, which is a loaded term because he's not saying Jesus was not the Son of God and then was adopted as the Son of God. But pull up Romans 1. This is where he gets this theology from, and so we can jump into this a little bit. But big picture is he starts with union with Christ, and he would say the primary benefit is adoption, and it's within adoption that we are things like justified and sanctified.
Romans 1 or Ephesians 1?
Sorry, Romans 1.
Romans 1.
If you want to,
that's what you said, but then you started talking about...
Sorry.
You started saying some stuff that was Ephesians 1-esque, so I want to make sure that I got it right. So I got Romans 1 here.
Can you read Romans 1? I think we will be okay if we read verses 3 through 5. Maybe just 3 and 4 we might be able to get there.
Yeah. Can I start at the beginning?
Yeah, or just start at 1. Yeah, we'll get the full context.
Paul, a bondservant of Christ Jesus, called an apostle, set apart for the gospel of God, which he promised beforehand through his prophets in the Holy Scriptures concerning his Son, who was born of a descendant of David, according to the flesh, who was declared the Son of God with power by the resurrection from the dead, according to the Spirit of holiness, Jesus Christ our Lord.
So yeah, this is the pivotal text. That the word declared there in the Greek, I guess, can go a few different ways. Some translations have it declared. Some translations have it appointed. Either way, from this text, some theologians would argue that this is showing an adoption moment. Not saying that Christ was never not the Son of God, but if he never was resurrected, he would not have been the Son of God. If that makes sense. Like you can't, like if Jesus died and was anyway, it's one of these weird arguments. Yeah.
It's almost like saying if he's a bachelor, but if he was married, he wouldn't be a bachelor.
Correct. It's like it's a weird way.
It's like a tautology.
So he spends a lot of time arguing that because Christ was adopted through this declaration appointing in a unique way, not saying he wasn't, like he goes through all the heresy and the history. Anyway, that's where a lot of people get hung up on, like, oh no. But the other thing that people get hung up on, they get hung up on that. But he makes this argument where he says adoption is the primary benefit, and within this adoption framework, we are justified and sanctified. Might be pressing a little bit too hard on there too. There is actually some good papers going back and forth between him. He's like the systematic chair at Westminster in Philadelphia, and then there's Michael Horton.
He's born and raised in West Philadelphia. Sorry.
Yeah, he's also the Fresh Prince. And then there's a theologian called Michael Horton who wrote this ordinary. Yeah, he's great. Yeah. He's at Westminster in California, and they kind of go back and forth, and they disagree.
They don't see this eye to eye.
They don't see this even within Westminster, which is pretty pretty on the same uniform. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of our doctrinal issues, even you could say Calvinism, Arminian.
Yeah.
They come down to us struggling to synthesize scripture written from an atemporal
mindset
that's so right.
from
God's perspective, but also a temporal mindset from our perspective, because there's, and I think to me, hearing you talk through I feel like, yes, in a sense, we are justified always in the eternal now of God. We're sanctified always. We're adopted always. But then as what we experience is we go, oh, well, God planned from eternity to save me. We know that because he's sovereign. And there was a point in time when I became justified for me.
Yes,
because that's what I experienced.
Right. That's true. Yeah,
and then as I grow through time, I become more and more sanctified. And all that is kind of shored up in this adoption. So I think like there's this temporal way that we look at it, and then this atemporal way that that God sees it. And you have scriptures kind of written from both perspectives.
Yeah, you're probably never going to make everyone happy or reconcile all of these things. I think that's a good way to put it, because I think you're right. That stems from a lot of confusion, where it's like, how do you view things? Anyway, I thought that was a good, I didn't mention the Sunday school, but because I was like, I was going to do that as part of a review, but it's hard to do that in 5 minutes. It's like, that's just going to confuse people, and we're getting to theology, and no one... Big picture, adoption's important is what I'm trying to push, not all this other stuff.
Yeah, I think it's really, I mean, I know I personally, and hopefully most of our church after going through this will I don't know that I would ever maybe talk about salvation again. We'll see.
Sure.
Without saying, an adoption's
making
a part of it.
Making it a part of it. Yes, exactly.
Because normally I would just talk about, predestination, the golden chain of redemption.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I think that's really good, and that's really the crux of this. You can read a lot of books, and it's like they make adoption they almost like swing the pendulum too far too. So it's kind of it's hard to find that, and I think they're coming from it like it's been so underemphasized. We're going to really emphasize. It's like, okay, how do we find this good balance?
Yeah, I was just wanting to look at this golden chain of redemption real quick.
Yeah, because it's interesting because it's coming on the heels of adoption.
Yeah. And could you just say that? And we know that he causes all things to work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to become conformed to the image of his Son, so that he would be the firstborn among many brethren. And those whom he predestined, he also called. And those whom he called, he also justified. And these whom he justified, he also glorified. I almost would just say adoption over all of that.
It almost is like it's almost like a all-encompassing.
That is like, yes. If you were God and not human, you could say the same thing about Jay and Jax.
Right.
Like all of that. Predetermined that you were going to go adopt someone. Yeah. And then you called them to them yourself, and then they became.
That's a really good point.
You broke it all down, but overall, that is the process of bringing someone into your family.
And that's what I like. This David Gardner guy, he's the one who has the most like half the stuff I was like, I kind of follow it. It was a little bit heady, but it's like that's like the point he was trying to make. It's so, this family adoption language is just so ubiquitous in scripture. It's kind of like you can't parse it out. It's kind of like, and that's why it's like separated, or it's like, I don't know, but I think getting at what you're saying. And then the other thing that makes it hard is that there are a lot of, redeeming has like slavery. All these different, propitiation is like this cultic, like satisfy. It's like you have all these pictures that work together, but they're not always necessarily the same picture. So it's like hard to, tease all these
metaphors
out. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's hard to make everything perfect. And in this final lesson, really wanted to press, it was really great. We had a panel, a lot of great things said. Wanted to press on like, how do we make this applicable, because it's doctrine's good. How does this change how you live? Maybe it changes how you think, but if it changes how you think a little bit, hopefully that impacts how you live. And I have this question: what's the secret to a happy life?
You asked this last week.
I asked the last week. Hope you've been thinking about it. And then other question. This is a good one. How would you summarize the gospel? Maybe I had 5 words or less, or 3 words or less. And I picked this because J.I. Packer answers both these questions in his book.
Charlie Kirk, he has something where he's 5 words, 4 words, 3 words, 2 words, 1. I think his 1 word is grace.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So he had something like that too.
I think that's it's a fun exercise. Not that like you have to, like I heard one, who was it? I heard there was well, we won't get into it. It's a critic. Yeah, I won't derail here. But J.I. Packer, his summary of the gospel is adoption through propitiation. So he kind of like couple big words in there, but he talks a lot about propitiation and a lot about adoption. So he kind of like combines those together. And I was like, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good, succinct way to talk about the gospel.
And if it was 5 words, is it adoption through propitiation and expiation?
There you go. Yeah. Like how do you keep building it out? But I like that a lot. We won't go through review. I will just shout out Timmerman, Suzette, and the Vasquezes were really cool to hear from them. One thing that I never got to talk about in this class, but I was hoping to talk about some of these similarities, but I think we talked about them like implicitly without having to like identify them, because that's really where a lot of these lessons were targeted. But here's a few that I think we can think about. Adoption, most of the time, is seriously planned. It was seriously planned by God, usually very planned by us. Adoption stems from an overflowing love. Adoption is costly. Adoption is a legal transaction. It results in transformation. It brings about new benefits and privileges. Some of those are a new family, a new name. It makes us heirs with an inheritance. Adoption unites and transcends across cultural, socioeconomic, and ethnic lines. And really, as I started making this list, I was like, we could just like, you could say anything. You know what I mean? Like adoption, you see these similarities. And so that was kind of a goal that as you see people who have been adopted, you would think more about your adoption in Christ. Which leads to this question. What's the secret to a happy life? And I bring this up. There is a country in the world, didn't have time to talk about it, that's been voted the happiest country in the world for 8 years in a row, as of 2025. 8 years in a row. Do you know what it would be?
Singapore?
You would think that, like a really wealthy nation or something like that. It's not. It is, I'll give you a hint, it's in Europe.
Poland?
Keep going north. It's one of those northern countries.
Then probably Norway?
Close.
Sweden? Finland?
Okay. And it kept getting voted like over and over, like happiest country in the world. The New York Times, I think it was this article I read, sent like a few people were like, I'm going to investigate this and talk to people. And what they found out, like when you talk to people didn't seem happy. Like people were pretty like ho-hum, like middle of the road kind of people. But that's exactly like what made them the happiest country. It wasn't like highs and lows. Like when you would ask them, they would say things like, we're just content with what we have. We're not particularly rich. We're not particularly poor. We're kind of like middle of the road, but we don't ask for much. We have what we have. Like life is good kind of thing. And if I were to compare that, and I think there's wisdom in that, I could probably stand to be more content than I am. And I think it's good. I think that's a good place to be.
All the business and development books say never be content.
It's like we need more.
Yeah.
It's good. We're gonna grow. We're gonna like make more profit. All of these things. Yeah. If you were like gonna put an adoption gospel twist on this, for us, it's not that we need to be content with what we have to be happy. Yeah. It's like we probably don't think about all that we have. It's probably the opposite problem. We've got so much, and we complain about other things, or we don't like realize all that we have in our adoption. It's kind of like this side thing that's not something we think about, and we're not content. And the way J.I. Packer put it is he said, if you want to be happy, say this to yourself. Say, I am a child of God. God is my Father. Heaven is my home. Every day is one day nearer. My Savior is my brother. Every Christian is my brother too.
Wow.
That's good. It's like just saying like simple truths over and over.
Yeah.
That's probably a good way to live your life.
That's really good. Yeah.
And the way he says it is he says, don't say it. He's not like say it once or twice. He says, you should say this first thing in the morning. Say it first thing before you go to bed.
Wow.
Say it when you're brushing your teeth. Say it when you're waiting on the bus. He's like, just say it when you got like time to say it. And he's like, I guarantee you'll be a happier person.
What I hear you saying is we need to record that, put that in our bumper. So that every podcast they
it just being said over and over. I think it's pretty hilarious. So yeah, that's like so good that we just don't think about. I'm gonna see if I can find it because I think I actually typed it out here. And it is, we can make some commentary on it. It's a little bit lengthy, but I think it's good. And I read it because he describes in more detail, or it's like maybe good application. He asks a lot of questions about our adoption. He says, maybe we'll stop every now and then to talk about this. He says, and I put this, really posed it as application for this series. He said, do I understand my adoption? Do I value it? Do I daily remind myself of my privilege as a child of God? Have I sought full assurance of my adoption? Do I daily dwell on the love of God to me? Good questions. People probably don't think about their adoption that much. Going further, Do I treat God as my Father in heaven? Do I love him and honor him and obey him, seeking and welcoming his fellowship, trying in everything to please him like a human parent would want his child to do? Do I think of Jesus Christ, my Savior and my Lord, as my brother, bearing to me not only a divine authority, but also a divine human sympathy? Do I think daily how close he is to me, how completely he understands me, and how much, as my kinsman redeemer, he cares for me? Have I learned to hate the things, and I like this too, he kind of goes on the other side of it. Do you hate the things that displease your Father? Am I sensitive to the evil things to which he is sensitive? Do I make a point of avoiding them lest I grieve him? This one's really good. Do I look forward to that great family occasion when the children of God will finally gather in heaven before the throne of God, their Father, and of the Lamb, their brother, and their Lord? Have I felt the thrill of this hope? Do I love my Christian brothers and sisters with whom I live day by day in a way that I won't be ashamed of when I'm in heaven and I think back over it? Am I proud of my Father? Am I proud of his family, to which by his grace I belong? Does the family likeness appear in me? If not, why not? God humble us, God instruct us, God make us his own true children. But I think it goes back to what you're saying. It kind of encompasses like so much. If you just like think about these things, just same thing with our salvation. It's like we know these things are true, and we could say them all day, but it's like hard to really live in the light of it. But it's like, man, J.I. Packer just nailed it in that one chapter. You know?
That's really good. I had to go back and read this book. What's the name of this book?
Knowing God.
Knowing God. Yeah.
And just one chapter on
I think
adoption.
the one I read was the Pink. What's it?
A.W. Pink. The Sovereignty of God or something like that. Yeah, I don't know what it would be, but
So maybe I need to go back and read this one.
I know everyone's got the initials: J.I. Packer, A.W. Pink, R.C. Sproul.
Yeah. Every Christmas.
Yeah.
Talked about Christmas earlier.
Yeah.
In fact,
bring it back.
We were. I was thinking this is a Tuesday episode. This is a Thursday
We're even
episode.
Closer.
So we're even closer. And House for the Holidays is tomorrow if you're listening to this on the day of. So anyways. But every Christmas, actually the day after Christmas, this is a tradition that Chloe started. I don't know why, but she as a young child would be really sad the day after Christmas. And she would look into the mirror and say, Christmas will be here before you know it.
Oh, yeah.
So we all
really
get into a bathroom on December 26th. We look in the mirror and we say, Christmas will be here before you know it. But reading that last bullet, we should say, heaven, it will be here before you know it.
It's good. It's like, thinking about that, it's like, man, all of that's like should be something that is, he says, like, have I felt the thrill of this hope? Like, man, should be thrilling, very hopeful. There's a lot of good things in there. And like he's got like 30 pages on adoption. It's like short, but it's like every paragraph is so good.
Yeah.
Man, J.I. Packer. I've read a couple of his books. He has written a lot about like the Puritans in particular. But so good. He like basically my Sunday school lesson didn't revolve around his chapter, but it's so much of he'll be like, no one talks about adoption. You go back to the Puritans. It's like not as much as you think it would be. And then here's all the ways that we are adopted. He has all the great quotes like, adoption is the highest privilege that the gospel offers, higher even than justification. And all these things, like, man, it's really, really good. And just a short, it's not like you have to spend 8 hours reading it. You spend, a little bit of time, 30 pages. And it's like, you can get that. If you want more, there's more you could read, but that's like succinct.
No, that's really good. And I think he's hitting on this theme that I've, picked up too and tried to repeat when I'm teaching is that justification alone just kind of leaves you at zero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It gets rid of the negative, which is a huge thing.
It's great.
Because we could never do that on our own. But salvation is so much more than that because, if you're reading Ephesians 2, 8, and 9, 10 comes after that. And it's like, and I've got good works for you to walk through. So it's not, and that's, that's not going to happen if we're not adopted into his family and we're, we have those things because he uses us in this way as part of his family to bring about his will on earth. Oh,
so good. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to hit on this, on the panel that like really came to your mind? I'm trying to think through, anything in particular. There's a lot of good things said, but
that will air. So maybe.
Oh, that's true. We don't have to step on it. It can be like it's up. Yeah, check it out. Check it out. It's really good.
So check it out. Yeah. So
it's funny. I mean, I knew it would happen, but it's like these things like snowball and like it's like I had more material planned, like in case it was dead. But same thing. I did the Q&A at the Valentine's Day banquet, And I think it went really well, but it's like some of the first questions I asked at the Valentine's banquet, it was like one word yes or no answers. I was like, wow, we're going to roll through this really fast. But then people open up and it was like, we don't have enough time. It was great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the same thing here. And I did a better job. Like, I do this thing where I like gave everyone the questions a month in advance. It's like, hey, if you don't like this question, tell me. I won't ask you this. But this is the question I want to ask you, Suzette. This is the question I want to ask you, and pick your questions and these kind of things.
That's good.
But it was good, different foster care perspective, an adoptee perspective with Suzette and the Timmermans private adoption. So good different perspectives. Listen to it, and I think if we would have let the cameras keep rolling, I was looking back, I was like, Pastor Joel's gonna cut us off here. Like, he wasn't, but I was like, oh, he's going to start getting antsy. I try to, this is just my personal preference. I try to end exactly at 10:15.
Yeah.
Just because like it's good, people can have like 50 minutes to fellowship. Sure. And if you have responsibilities, you need to be like at the, like, hey, I don't want you to feel rushed, whatever. Not that it's bad, but I know there's grace in there. But I do that just in case it's like a little long. Right. I'm good,
Yeah.
So that's my goal.
I have been known to teach like up to 10:25, and they're like, okay, y'all can get out.
That's good.
There's been, when I was first teaching, I was just trying to get all of it out.
Yeah.
And I am actively like trying to wrap up.
Yes.
And Jack comes over. This is a young, he's like,
he did the timeout. He's like, come on.
Brother, we got to cut this.
It's crazy. I would love to get a breakdown, because this is my challenge. I thought 5 lessons was appropriate for this series, but I was like, man, I naturally am a fast talker anyway. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll like put my notes and I'll look at how many words. I'll be like, how long should this take to present? And they're like, you have an hour and 15 minutes worth of notes. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm going for it, because I just like talk. I'm like, let's get this going. I try to go through it fast. I think I could do better to slow down, but I'm always like, I just want to hear all the information. I need to do better at like learning how to let things breathe or whatever. But I'm just like, have you heard this? Have you heard this? Have you heard this? Like, let's do this. It's good. But anyway, that's the adoption series. Hope
Thanks
you enjoyed
for
it.
This. I have learned. I don't always learn from your lessons, Zach, but I did learn from this one.
Usually, I think I'm also been thinking. I know what my next adult discipleship class is going to be. Okay, I've got it on my mind.
Are you going to tell people?
Nope,
or is it
secret. Okay. I'll tell you off air. Maybe it's a terrible idea, but it's a different spin on things. So
it's a different
anyway,
world.
What's we know what's next? Maybe Christmas stuff.
Maybe some Christmas stuff.
See,
we don't really know. We got to figure it out. We may be interviewing someone.
That's actually very true. Yeah. We hate to say it's a for sure thing in case it was not, but I think that's great. Yeah.
Maybe interviewing a couple of different people.
Yeah.
Someone who reached out to us.
Yeah. We're in demand.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. I hope that comes through.
Yeah, I do hope that comes through.
Sweet. Well, I love it. Well, thanks for hanging in there with us. That's our take. Thanks for listening to Take 2. Find us wherever you find podcasts and on YouTube for those who want to watch our videocast.